All right guys, welcome to another video on the channel. I will say, if you couldn't tell already, I am not inside a kitchen. I'm not in the Crazy Pieces kitchen. I'm in no kitchen whatsoever, but I will cook. Here's the deal. So we wanted to do something a little bit different, a little bit special. I went ahead and got a new tire. I had an unexpected mishap with the last one, only 3 weeks into having it, but it got fixed up. And I'm going to Williams, Arizona. I'm 28. I've never been to the Grand Canyon. I've heard lots about it. I found this super cool spot. It's a surprise, so I can't show you guys yet or tell you anything about it. But yeah, I'm driving up. It's a little over a 3-hour ride, so I'm super excited. I'm about 45 minutes in right now. Just got some gas, got some more water, and yeah, bike's holding up super good. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. I know I've shown you guys a little bit of the bike on the channel. I can definitely do a full breakdown of everything I've done to it since I got it. Honestly, just out here, just seeing what we can do, see if you guys like the video, and yeah, let's get it going. We're about an hour into, oh my goodness, sorry. So we're about an hour into the ride already. I've got probably another hour and a half left. Beautiful, the weather is fantastic. A little warm before I got out of the valley, but it's awesome. Traffic is minimal, speeds are good. It's amazing, guys. I wish that I had the setup to be able to show you. Definitely gonna have to be something that I get to show you guys next time, because it's just gorgeous. Literally movie scene, you're going through, there's absolutely nothing, just giant fields of just open plains of area. It's beautiful out there, seriously. Let's see, so I've got probably about, like I said, an hour to get back in, hour and a half to get into Flag. I'm gonna do my shopping all in Flagstaff, and then I'm gonna make my way over to Williams to check into the place and show you guys what's up for tonight. All right guys, we made it. So I'm up in Flagstaff. It's freaking beautiful. I wish so bad that I would have brought some kind of camera for the bike, just because the ride out here is canyon riding. It's absolutely beautiful. There was no traffic whatsoever. I stopped in Munns Park to grab a little bit of gas, get a drink for myself. We were both a little thirsty. Went ahead and did that. I'm now at Fry's. I'm gonna go ahead and grab whatever I feel like cooking, I guess. I think I'm gonna do an outside cook. I think I might roll over to a Goodwill or something and find a cast iron, who knows. Super excited to be out here though. The weather though is, I gotta say, the weather is the best part of being out here. The scenery is great, but the weather is unreal, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and get in there, grab a couple things. I'm kind of uncomfortable filming in public. That's why you'll notice that I kind of get some space every time. But I will say I'm gonna grab some stuff inside, and yeah, we'll make some awesome meal out in the wilderness. So you just saw a tiny bit of what it looked like driving out here. It's super secluded. It took probably 10-15 minutes of literally what you just saw, those little bits and pieces of where it's are you even supposed to drive here? But rest assured, I have arrived. I'm super excited, guys. This is the Airbnb. Check out this dome right now, okay? I'm gonna walk you guys around. I'm gonna do an entire cook, obviously. I'm gonna try to see if I can find some rocks or something and try to put something together and do an outdoor cast iron cook for you guys. So I'm gonna flip the camera around right now, and I'm gonna show you guys around the spot. Honestly, blown away by how cool this thing already looks without even going inside. So it's this cool dome. I went ahead and already took this off for video's sake, but this is what we're looking at right here. So this is the cooktop area and everything. I might just pull this out of here so that we can cook with this, cook all outside and everything. They said that there was only a small amount of electricity. It's most likely on a battery that's running underneath this platform here. So just small little things, they said. But this is super nice. It's literally a giant tent with a metal or conduit construction. Awesome, there is a cooler. I brought a bunch of good food to cook out for in a little bit. Laundry basket, hamper. Oh, look, they left the little thing. That's super awesome. And then, oh, look, left a couple little prickly pear waters. That's super nice of them. Yeah, this is gonna be so cool at night. Just looking out here, it's like I said, it's super secluded, so I'm gonna get some really cool shots tonight. Oh, nice, they have stuff for coffee in the morning. That's gonna be amazing. And then moving out here, there's definitely a facility for water and whatnot. They did say there was a limited amount of water, okay? So it's just gonna be this side for the bathroom, outdoor sink, super cool. And then on this side, I believe, yes, on this side, there's an outdoor shower. So they've got the rainfall shower and everything outside. I've got a bunch of stuff planned for tomorrow, and then just the yeah, the solar panel. So that's the look around right now. I will say I probably only have like, it looks really bright right now, but I probably only have like an hour and a half to 2 hours to like get everything set for the food. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that started, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in a little bit. It is super windy outside. I know like at the exact time that I'm actually talking about it, it's not gonna be windy, but it's too windy to cook on the ground. I'm looking around and there, if here, I'll show you guys. It literally is like really grassy and there's a lot of dry stuff on the ground. And I honestly do not want to be responsible for a fire. So I'm gonna go ahead and use what they actually had available to us. Initially, the plan was to cook inside of the dome where they had like the small little kitchenette set up. But the problem being is it's already really hot in there, and I don't want to use all of our electric trying to cool it down after the cook. I'd rather use that to run the fans while I'm sleeping. Call me selfish, but I think it's actually going to come out better this way. I'm going to go ahead and actually, no, I'm not going to tell you guys what I'm cooking. I'm just going to do it. But this is the setup that I've got for today's cook, guys. So I've got all of our cooled stuff over here on a side table. I've got our little kitchenette. I pulled it out of there just to make sure that we can do it. It's just a little conduit for gas. Super nice. I was able to acquire a cast iron. This place was super stocked when it comes to what they had available at the Airbnb. I was expecting a kitchenette. What I got was a fully stocked little thing. I've seen college dorms not this well stocked, guys. So I went ahead and did that, and now I'm going to go ahead and start the cook. So originally speaking, I was gonna do everything like around sunset, just to like make it as cinematic as possible. But like we all know, I absolutely suck at keeping timelines when it comes to cooking food. So in order to not be done by midnight, I'm gonna go ahead and start now. So I guess the whole plan of not telling you guys what I was gonna cook just isn't gonna work out as far as filming goes. So I'm going to be doing a one pot. Everything's gonna be cooked inside the cast iron. Originally, like I said, it was gonna be over a fire, but didn't want to start one. So I'm gonna do everything inside the cast iron here, and it's gonna be fun. So I've got a 10-ounce bison steak. I'm gonna go ahead and just grab this. It's gonna be a little awkward, guys. I'm in the middle of nowhere, so if I'm camera angling everywhere, don't hate me. I will say, from traveling from Flagstaff to here, I will say I did have it cooled. I didn't want it to get hot or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and start resting it. I'm gonna just throw some salt and pepper on top of that, and then I'm gonna start breaking down some of my veg. My Airbnb host was gracious enough to give us garbage bags. So I'm definitely gonna take them up on using those. Just seeing as how I'm out in the world, I don't wanna be leaving anything behind. So I'm gonna make sure I'm very diligent about cleaning everything up. So like always, I'm gonna make sure that I leave this just long enough to come up to room temp, or as close to room temp as I can. I'm gonna give it the most even cook. I went ahead and actually, when I was inside the Sprouts, I was looking around and I was like, what would make a good looking meal while also not creating a bunch of excess waste and things that I'm not gonna be able to keep, and food that I'm not gonna be able to take home. So I was able to find the cutest mini vegetables ever. So I was able to find miniature carrots, broccolini, potatoes, and tomatoes. So I'm hoping that I do all that, and then I actually had some scallops as well. So we're gonna do like a surf and turf out in the middle of nowhere, out in the middle of the desert, a surf and turf. Who would have thought? Okay, as I literally explained that, I just realized that I really don't have that much to break down. So I'm gonna break down a couple of cloves of garlic here. It's just gonna be for the steak. So I'm only gonna do like 3 or 4. Not too worried about it. I'm just gonna crush these with the side of the knife, release them from the skin. I'm not gonna even mince them. I'm gonna leave them pretty, I'm gonna take the skin out, but I'm just gonna leave them like that. It's gonna be perfect. In an attempt to work in this tiny little space, I'm actually gonna be like chopping up everything and just throwing it onto little paper plates and putting them aside. I know, super wasteful, I'm sorry. And next time I should honestly bring out some Pyrex or something. I really don't want to overcrowd anything. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm just gonna take one of each of these beautiful carrots. I'm actually gonna throw these inside my bag. These will make the voyage home. So don't think I'm throwing these away. So I'm just gonna go ahead and come at these. I'm gonna cut it a bias. If you guys have never had rainbow carrots, they are so good. And by so good, I mean they taste exactly the same as normal carrots. I'm gonna go ahead and get this started here. Just turn on the gas. So I've got that cranked as hot as it can go. I will say the flame looks a little bit small. Here, I'll show you guys. The flame looks a little bit small, but what I will say is that I'm gonna put my full faith into it. No, that was not from me. Do not think that. Hopefully it can reach temp, like get really hot, and I'll be able to throw that on and it'll be awesome. When I said before that I didn't have anything to chop, apparently I am not paying attention at all. Being around the beautiful scenery has me literally thinking absolutely 0%. So give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and julienne some of these onions. I went over it the other day. I'm not gonna do it the way that I explained. I'm gonna do it the lazy way because it's just out in the wilderness. Who cares? So I'm just gonna go ahead and clean the onion, take the top bottom, slice that in half. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the steak started. I'm just gonna salt and pepper it. I think I'm just gonna salt, pepper, dry it off. I'm gonna throw a tiny bit of butter on top of it and I'm just gonna let it run. Not too much pepper, it'll burn. I'm gonna use a tiny bit. This cast iron is just about smoking hot, guys. You see the smoke coming off of that boy? That means it's just about ready for us. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw on, I brought a little thing of olive oil inside here. I will say it did spill a little bit, so that's gross. So I'm gonna have to deal with that. I'm gonna go ahead and throw down this oil, just a little bit, not too much, not going crazy with it. Big slant on that, not too happy about that. I'm gonna go ahead and come in with my steak. I'm just gonna lay this away from me. Making sure there's good contact. Don't be scared to get your hands in there. Make sure there's good contact on that. I'm gonna let that run for about 6 minutes here and should be good. No meal that I make would ever be complete without chives. So I brought a whole bundle of them. I'm only gonna use half for this recipe, but I'll make sure to drop everything down below. It's really not gonna be much of a recipe, more like just a food buying guide. So should be good. So my food has been on for about like 6 minutes now. I've got kind of a Dutch oven situation going with another cast iron that was here, just because I felt like the heat is just not getting hot enough. But as soon as I put the cold steak on it, it just dropped exponentially. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I am going to flip it now. Got a nice little crusting going there. Don't worry too much about it. Don't worry, okay? Trust me. Okay, we're gonna throw this down. In about 3 minutes time, I'm gonna go ahead and cover this again. In about 3 minutes time, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna butter baste it. I'm gonna put about 3 tablespoons of butter in, a couple things of rosemary, and then that garlic that I smashed up earlier, and I'm just gonna go ahead and thoroughly baste that. It'll darken up a bit. I'm looking for a mid-rare. I like mine more on the rare side, so should be good. That time has come. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take off this steak, I'm gonna rest it, and then by the time I'm done cooking these vegetables and everything, and the vegetables and the scallops, and I start getting everything plated, that steak is gonna be perfect and ready to serve. So I'm actually just gonna lift this up. I'm gonna put it into this other one that I was using from before. I'm gonna leave all of this in here. I might scrape it a tiny bit, just make sure all that flavor is getting up. So right now, this is just that butter, a little bit of oil, and then that garlic, and then the flavor from the steak being cooked. You can see this butter is starting to brown right now. If this is running a little low for you guys can throw in some additional fat of some kind to like boost this volume up. But if not, then you're good to do what I'm about to do, which is starting to sweat down the onions. So I've got my onions here. Got those all thrown in. I'm gonna go ahead and give these a nice mix. So like I mentioned earlier, my heat is kind of right now, but I'm just gonna make sure that everything is getting everything is getting coated up. And I'm gonna let these go without a lid on them, and I'm gonna let these go for probably like 3 or 4 minutes. Awesome, so like I mentioned before, I've got a bunch of like tiny little vegetables and whatnot to add to this. These have been running for about 3 or 4 minutes now. I'm gonna go ahead and just give these one final little mix. Everything's gonna stay in here. I'm just gonna continue to add all of my veg. I'm just gonna push these over to one side so that I can get a sear on the other vegetables. This is my cool side I'm finding on this one, so this will be hot side, and residual oil will be enough for what I'm cooking, so I'm gonna be going ahead and throwing all that stuff down right now. So I'm ready to do this. So I've got these onions over to the side right now. I've got a small bag of mini potatoes. No, I'm not gonna wash them. I do not care.
We do not care.
I'm gonna go ahead and add half the bag of these. This one looks not great, so that's not getting in there. I've also got over here, I've got these tiny little tomatoes. I've never seen tomatoes this small, but I'm amazed by them. Look at them. They're little tiny. They're smaller than grapes. Maybe it's hard to see like in the video, but like literally, like look at my hand and look at that. It's ridiculous. Cool, so I've got that thrown down. I'm gonna throw down my baby broccolini as well. I am gonna overcrowd the pan, but then I'm gonna throw a bunch of oil in. I'm gonna throw top over it, and I'm just gonna let it rip for a while. Those beautiful carrots that we did earlier as well. This is a combination bag of spices that I decided to bring with because I didn't know what kind of setup I was gonna have. I'm glad that I did. It's salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and then a small amount of red pepper flakes. That's just gonna get thrown inside this entire mixture here as well as the butter. Oh, and dried thyme. Don't let me forget that, dried thyme. Going to add in a couple more tablespoons of this oil from earlier. And then I'll probably give this a really good mix, and then I'll show you guys what this is looking like. All right, you guys gotta see this. Look at that. So I'm just gonna give that a nice stir like we talked about. So I'm gonna let that go. I'm probably gonna let that go until they're done, and I'll let you know the time, I guess. I'm guessing it's gonna be like something like 7 or 8 minutes. I was so incredibly wrong. I said like 7 or 8 minutes. It's been like 15 already. I think it's because of the flame. I'm not 100% sure, but it's still going. What I will say is I just took off one of the potatoes. I was able to cut through it. It's not so much hard as it is not falling apart super easy. So it's still got like probably 5 to 7 minutes from now of cooking. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna add in the little tomatoes. I was looking, and the name of these tomatoes is Teeny Tiny Tomatoes, and it is so fitting. So I'm just gonna go ahead and like split these open and just throw them directly in. I'm just gonna look for blistering. I still want them to have like a pretty good consistency to them. I don't want them to be mush. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take these. I'm just gonna drizzle these right over the top. I want all of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna push those to the bottom or anything. I'm gonna leave them on the top so that everything else that's still cooking, those potatoes, the broccolini and everything, can get all of that direct heat, and they can sear, and then these can just get all of the smoke that's coming up, or I'm sorry, all the steam that's coming up that's trapped underneath the lid here. That's gonna blister off, and that residual heat's gonna cook our tomatoes. I actually have to start the fire again. So this just started right now, guys. Just kill the heat. Okay, so that just started a fire. Yeah, I'm gonna kill the heat and cook everything residually from now, I think. So crisis averted. I turned on the other burner. That's making a lot more sense considering the marks that were left on there, and I probably should have thought twice about it, but didn't. So I'll send a text to the Airbnb people. Hopefully they're pretty understanding because it was already kind of damaged. I know it doesn't make it any better, but I'm gonna hope. So I've got it switched over to the other burner. I went ahead and test started it and made sure that it wasn't leaking out any flames or anything. That was very odd because I've been cooking on the other one for like 45 minutes with nothing, but it's a conduit for gas, so anytime it's something like that, I just want to make sure that I'm being real safe about it. I'm gonna give you guys a little sneaky peek of what's going on under there. That heat's going nice. Those are starting to sweat. You can literally see the water beating up on those. But what's really nice is we can speed this up a little bit because we are generating a little more heat on this other burner. So what I can go ahead and do is I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of water, and it's gonna accelerate how fast it steams up in there. So I went ahead and I pulled off all of my vegetables. This has been sitting for just a couple of seconds here. You can see just from what's left in it, it's still got a good amount of heat right there. So I'm gonna go ahead now and I'm gonna throw down a couple of scallops. Only probably gonna need 2. They cook really fast though, so make sure you get good contact, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I've got my scallops here. I've got just 2 of them. I put them inside a paper towel, just gonna pat them dry. All that I'm gonna use for this is a tiny bit of oil for the pan, which I'm gonna use the residual fats. It's gonna give it a little more color than normally you're looking for on a scallop, but I don't care. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put these down, and they cook really fast, guys. It's a good sound to hear. So I'm gonna go ahead and hold that for just a couple seconds. That one's got good pressure on it. I have heard many things about like how to cook them, when to take them off, how to do all this stuff. And honestly, I've always just counted to 45 and then flipped it over. It's worked out for me so far, guys. I don't know. It might not be right, but it's what I do. All right, I'm gonna flip these. Not really as dark as I wanted it. So I'm gonna leave this one a little longer, give it a little pressure. It's all a work in progress, guys. Awesome, we are here. So steak came out a little more overdone than I thought. Let's see how it tastes though. It looks good, it's got good juice to it. Okay, it's super good. So here it is, guys. Surf and turf in the middle of the desert. I just wanted to take a second to thank everybody. I never thought in a million years that I'd be inside a situation where I'd get to come out and do things like this and get to cook out in the middle of the wilderness for a living. So thank you. Thanks for joining me on the first night of cooking here. I'm only gonna be here for the one night, so thanks for being along. All right, thanks for joining me today for what hopefully is the first of a long-lasting series of cooking outside. I had an absolute blast. Thank you so much for everyone who made this possible. I can't wait to see what other ideas that you guys have and what other things I can create for you. Thanks, guys.
We feel that vibe all night.